Hello and welcome to The Nation. You're joining me, Elaine Abla, as we discuss today's topic, the fourth wave execution integrity. Joining me in the studio are Professor Dr. Suresh Govind and Haridas Suppiah, the co-founders of the fourth wave execution integrity. Of course, Professor Dr. Suresh and Haridas, the co-founders of SPEAARS International, have developed this unique SPEAARS grid that provides visual clarity on how the domains of performance and culture coexist to propel performance optimization. Professor Dr. Suresh is a professor at University of Malaya, has published close to 280 papers, including conference papers, written 4 personal development books, and has given motivational and human value-based talks in most parts of the world. He promotes the walk the talk approach and empowering the mind to break boundaries and barriers to reach the intended visions and goals. We have Haridas as well. Haridas has 20 years of experience in consulting, personal coaching, counseling, research and training in corporate and government organizations. And his unique training approach possesses the art of discovering underlying root causes of mental model flaws. And of course, in the studio with me, Professor Suresh of University of Malaya and his team have won an international award for developing the world's first software for measuring executive integrity, or EI. But you're wondering, what is EI? It's a software to measure the state of your efficiency by measuring your consistency, capability, and capacity. And we have recommendations and self-coaching notes embedded inside. Congratulations, gentlemen, on the gold medal, and we can see this here on the table. It, of course, brings us a lot of joy that you've put Malaysia again on the map. Congratulations. Perhaps you can tell us a little bit more about this award and what is this award? What does it recognize? Professor Suresh, perhaps you start first, and then Haridas, you can continue.
So this medal was given for the ITEX Asian Innovation Award, and this is for the development of a software. And this software basically measures mental model.
Okay.
And the reason why we took the effort to do this is simply because we have seen so many issues and problems, and we need to know what is the easiest way to detect what the issues are.
Okay.
Not only just in youth, but also in the corporate sector. Because, for example, if in an organization, if you have certain efficiency problem or certain productivity problem, how do we find out what's the root cause? Of course, we can skim at the surface and do that, but it could be contributed to human personality, which sometimes we may not be able to do. So if there is a software approach of this nature, which helps us to identify and detect and diffuse those spots, then it will enable the organization to grow. It will also enable personalities to grow.
Right.
So the whole idea of life is, you and I are only looking for one thing in life. What is that? Happiness. We want happiness. How do you get that happiness? So unless we have some methods and approaches for us to enhance our happiness, that will improve the quality of life.
Right. So it's recognizing the innovation. So I think it sounds like it's extremely complicated to create a mental model. There are so many aspects, so many variables, so many things to factor in order for you to be able to do that. I mean, most of the time, these are avenues of where people go to either psychologists or counselors to understand a little bit about your mental models and your mental behaviors and how to change. How does a machine or a software, how is it able to sort of find that out? Perhaps Haridas, you can explain that.
Yeah, how actually we could able to help people to really see the mental model is we could able to see when we take all the behaviors and general expression of leaders, people and all that, we could able to compartmentalize the mental model expression in 7 areas. So we call it 7-centeredness. So what we have done is we created the 7-centeredness, and we start looking into whether all the behaviors that we see day to day could be able to fit in 7-centeredness, which represent for different reasons. For example, let's say we'll take one centeredness of it. We call it CZC, or comfort zone centered. Right. Comfort zone centered is a center where always look into how you create confidence, because when we come to familiarity, you are familiar with something, you build confidence. But that is good, because your confidence level will go up because I know
what I'm doing.
But the question now is, let's say the CZC, the comfort zone, is very high. It will affect your continuous improvement, because you never try new things, you don't explore new things, you'll stuck into a routine and mechanical kind of thing. So So the diagnosis will measure to what extent are you stuck in a comfort zone. Because when we talk about corporate improvement, performance improvement, if let's say the leaders are stuck in a high comfort zone, then we know that we need to really move them out, or we need to now re-modify their behavior, or we need to give them a new way or task or KPI or performance so that they could able to move next level of performance.
As I asked you earlier, I think a lot of people are aware that they're in a comfort zone and they like being in a comfort zone. So what does knowing that model, that mental model that your comfort zone, how does that help?
One is it will give them the current reality that why am I not moving forward? Some people really want to move forward, but they don't know they're actually trapped in a high comfort zone. Because a high comfort zone for them is, they said, the more I know, the more I could able to do it so perfectly. That means I must be very good. But performance acceleration will not happen when you're stuck in high comfort zone. So we need to go and tell them that if you want to move to next level of performance, you need to break this comfort zone. You need to get into a new area of exploration, challenges, targets. So most of the leaders, they don't know. So what happens is they set high targets and they push themselves to achieve that, but actually they don't know that actually they're stuck with the old habits, patterns, which will not going to give you the new results.
I think one of the things you were sharing with me earlier was talking about, yes, comfort zone, knowing your comfort zone, like I said, everybody knows, but you were saying that this mental model behavior is able to tell you why you like being in comfort zone or why you stay stuck in a comfort zone. Because
which area of comfort zone you are stuck in. Because comfort zone is a generic term.
How does it do that? How does it tell you why? Based on what theories? Based on what kind of modeling?
So this is where what we did was over a couple of thousand clients over the large number of years that we have worked on this. In a few countries, Southeast Asian countries, we were doing this. So compiling that using permutations and combinations, matching the scores, matching with the behavior, matching. So there's a lot of meticulous work that was done. That's why we only got it out in 3 years. I mean, recently.
When did it start, this whole project specifically?
1998, I started the framework to look into this, because mental model is a huge subject, but we really want to have something for people to see the mental model, because mental model is your root cause of your behavior.
So what kind of data sets have you collected based on the ability to project? If you have the ability to project, you must have been collecting a large enough database to be able to create that pattern modeling. How did you collect that information? Is it through, there's a lot of, is it through AI, it's keying in?
No, it's keying in.
Right.
Because with a set of questionnaires, we collected the questionnaires and then had face-to-face interviews, and then we can see the shaping of the scores with regarding to the behaviors. Then we match it with the superiors' opinions and all that. So there was a lot of matching of that nature in order to get that precision in that scores.
Right, okay. So this mental modeling software automatically calculates all those outcomes.
All that your thinking patterns in all the 7-centeredness.
So it will map out based on your activities and your behavior, and it will map out what is your
tendencies. Inclinations and your tendencies in all different areas. For example, CZC is all about, like what I told earlier, do we want to see what is your ability to continuously improve, progress and all that. Then we move to the second-centeredness. The second-centeredness will measure to what extent you are being accountable, responsible of doing what you're supposed to do. Then you move to the third-centeredness, about intrinsic motivation. It measures your intrinsic motivation, your drive performance, your emotional balance. That's where the EQ part, we will see how balanced are you emotionally. Then we move to the fourth-centeredness, it will work on your willpower. Because willpower is the one, you remember earlier you were saying that, after some time, habits is something that will pull you back.
COVID-19 is a clear example.
The first 2-3 months, all of us were so good.
So afraid.
Exactly.
Because of fear of death.
Correct.
Everybody's wearing a mask properly, physically distancing, but within a couple of months, everybody's back to their normal behavior.
So the CZC is the lower centeredness. Then when you go to higher centeredness, like the vision-centered, heart-centered, and then all the mission-centered, these are the centeredness that give you greater reasoning, greater wisdom. Why that habit should be what we call continued. Some people, you see, until today, I have some of my friends, how they behave when the COVID started, they're behaving the same manner. They're very careful. Because why? Their higher centeredness are very solid. They could be able to reason out. They could be able to have the wisdom to see.
Right.
So when the higher centeredness are weak, you are right. The past habit gravitation is very strong.
Will pull you back.
Pull you back.
Yeah.
And
So
emotionally you are weak, even worse.
Yes, it's all going to be very difficult. So we will take a short breather and a short laugh. But before I go on a break, I want to have a bit of a clearer explanation of what exactly is fourth wave execution integrity. Why the term and how did that term come about?
Oh, okay.
Okay, so we ourselves are thinking about it. Okay, no. Execution integrity is whatever said and done. At the end of the day, your heart, your head, and hands, there must be alignment. There must be whatever you say, whatever you speak, and whatever you do. There must be integration.
So why fourth wave? What does fourth wave mean?
Fourth wave is referred to a level of consciousness.
Okay.
So we have the first wave of consciousness, second wave of consciousness, third wave of consciousness, fourth wave of consciousness. So when you come into the program, literally we will be orientating you towards sensitizing the higher dimensions of fourth wave consciousness.
So is there more than fourth?
No.
Is fourth the highest?
They are, but we stopped 4 because that is the right consciousness currently. It will be very helpful for us to be in a corporate life, family life, and all that.
Okay.
So to answer that question where you asked earlier, why would someone correspond to conform? That's one way will be. That is why we focus on developing the consciousness to the fourth level, whereby he wants to change. There is a need for him to transform. Once you have a need and are committed to change, you want to know how to do that. Then you will cut the cords and you'll start moving.
That's the difficulty, really, finding that commitment.
Yeah, so this is where we need to do that fourth wave. That's why it's called fourth wave.
Okay.
So you can't actually move it through first wave, second wave, then it won't happen. But when you come to the fourth wave, there is a certain urgency that I need to do this.
Right.
Lots of people actually want to change, want to transform. Who doesn't want to get 100%?
But everybody says, but nobody does.
Correct. That's why the program is important, because once we sensitize and diagnose where you are, then the program orientates you to a level in which there is a need and a want.
That sounds interesting. Let's delve into that after we take a short breather and find out how we're going to be able to spur that really want for that fourth wave change. We'll take a short breather. We'll be back after this message. Stay tuned.
Hei, nak keluar ke tu? Kes dah banyak ni. Ingat 3W. Wash, basuh tangan. Wear, pakai pelitup muka. Dan warn, ingat peringatan KKM. Tak payah salam atau laga badan. Kalau batuk dan bersin, tutup mulut. Sakit, jumpa doktor. Tempat yang selalu disentuh, basuh. Patuhi kepada SOP. Ikut syarat PKPP. Lindungi orang berisiko tinggi. Jaga penjarakan fizikal. COVID-19 tak pilih mangsa. Semua boleh kena. Sama-sama kita jaga kita.
Budayakan norma baru. Bersama-sama kita putuskan rantaian COVID-19.
Hello, thanks for staying with us here on The Nation with me, Eleanor Abdullah. In the studio, I have the pleasure of speaking to Professor Dr. Suresh Govind as well as Hardas Supia. We're talking about the fourth wave execution integrity. Gentlemen, we had a little bit of a sort of like an introduction of what this fourth wave execution integrity is, and we talked about mental modeling and how we also talked about everybody says they want to change, but really they don't really do it. Eventually, the results show that we are very good at paying lip service. We say we want to, but we don't actually have the results to show on the ground. And you're saying that this mental model program or software is able to assist people to get there. And you're able to see the results, you're able to see the root causes, and you're able to map the individual person to have them get on that bandwagon if they really want to create that change. So now, before I go into that, we talked about how there's a lot of data that was collected in order for you to be able to create this pattern and mapping. But let's talk about your backgrounds. How did you all come together to do this? How and why was this product created? It's not a simple product. Why put the time and energy to this? Let's start with who initiated this? Hardas or you did?
Yes. One of the reasons why I really went into this is I always I want to find why people behave in certain ways. So that was my first curiosity. And of course, we read a lot of books of motivation books, inspirational books. They always give us an idea that, oh, you must change like this, you must do like this to become successful. But it's not like what you said earlier, it's not that easy. It's nice to hear things, but we have our own tendencies. So that's where I went into the subject called mental model. So when I was reading about mental model, continuously the research papers were saying that mental model is where the place that controls your behavior modification. So if that is so, then it's good if I get to know the mental model.
So the question is, you started with saying that why do people behave in a certain way? Did you find an answer?
No. But when I read about this mental model, they said if you could able to change your mental model, you could able to change the expression of behavior and attributes. I say, hey, that's interesting.
Okay. So the why is not important?
No, first I was looking into where I need to find, then only I can find the why.
Okay.
So they said mental model is the right place to find it. So then I was looking into, okay, if mental model is the place I need to know the why, then I could not able to see the why because I am not able to see my mental model.
Right. You cannot believe it without seeing.
Exactly.
I mean, it's a human behavior, right? You want to see to believe, right?
Because all the texts are saying that you behave in certain ways because it influenced by your mental model. All right, that's good. So if I want to change, then I must go back to the mental model.
Right.
If I want to do changes, then I must know what is this mental model is all about. And I could not able to see anything that can help me to see my mental model.
So how did Prof Suresh, parasitologist, come into the picture with regards to part of this whole endeavor and project?
Okay, parasitology has got nothing to do with this. Okay, nothing. Other than the philosophical approach.
Parasites.
Other than the philosophical approach of removing parasitism from humanity.
Right.
This is nothing else. But the real reason is because I love my research, I love my papers, I love my students, I love my teaching. But the other thing that I'm passionate about is transformation, human transformation, which I have been carrying out through the SPEAARS International organization for the past 30 years. It's an NGO that is doing community work, service work, and I've been doing that.
Right.
So whilst we are doing community work, transforming work, and going to schools, colleges, and doing all that, then of course in that line our paths crossed, and he had the same kind of vibration that I had and we had. So we resonated, and therefore the ideas became bigger and bigger, and this is where we are. So this is how it is.
So I guess proof is in the pudding. What kind of success stories do you have to speak of with regards to the success of this program and the software? Besides, of course, the recognition of and the gold award, it must come from somewhere. What are the changes that have been implemented? What are the actual results?
Actually, this is one of the reasons why the award was won, because of evidence-based, because we showed them the series of successes that we have had in companies.
Being a scientist, that must be very important. You must have evidence, what's the point of it?
It's no more, you see, we have moved away from the rah-rah thing. Okay, given when we go into a training, 35 people will receive the same information in different ways.
Because I'm really tired of having people talk on a stage, and after that everybody goes away feeling good, but nothing happens.
So every time we do these sessions, we are 3 or 4 hours closer to our graveyard. We have to be careful of how we spend our time. So this is the reason why we started to focus on certain things and give them a personalized results, especially the 33 page report that comes out as a result of this printout.
But that sounds like a lot. That sounds a lot to digest.
Yeah, but it's full of graphs. You see, remember you said, why would people change? Because when you have in your hands the X-ray that shows a damaged lung, it is high possibility that you might want to stop your smoking. So in other words, visual imagery is a very important thing. So those graphs and bar charts help. So we also have got evidences to show transformation in companies. For example,
the quite number. One of the company, a pharmaceutical company in Indonesia. So we worked with them about 2 years. Usually they'll invite us to improve their performance. And most of the time what we'll do is you just go in and then write the new targets, push everyone, motivate. That's a common thing.
And all companies hate consultants because they're just going in, messing things up, and don't stay long enough to see the results.
Exactly. So our belief is very different. We say that work on the performer, then only you work on performance. So what we'll do, first work on the performer, because they are the ones supposed to bring in the performance. That's why we go and do the mental model transformation work first. We give them, beside the diagnosis, we give them the transformation technology, build their leadership performance capabilities. Then again we move into their strategic direction, monitor their whole thing, guide them, how do you take the performance to next level. So we could able to see good results. For example, one of the quite a big pharmaceutical company in Indonesia, when we started, they were on the 18th position in Indonesia. In 9 months,
in terms of sales?
18th position, sales ranking wise.
Right.
So in 9 months, they came to 8th, and their profit went from 25% PBT, it went to 137% profit.
And was that repeated and continuous with regards to their improvement? Because one of the things that we talk about is that people are great starters but can't finish.
Yeah. So what happened is we were with them about 3 years.
Right.
So the first year, after the 9 months, the PBT went about 137.
Yeah.
So after that, we could able to move not a lot, but we could able to sustain.
Right. So there was no back to a comfort zone
so
level.
because they already achieved that level, they could able to sustain it, and we were there about 3 years to help them to sustain that performance culture. Then we moved up. So I think 3 years is good enough for us to set that kind of momentum, strength, muscle.
So is that a requirement in terms of a time frame to be able to keep a monitoring and tracking program going?
Oh yes. First 1 year is housekeeping and set everything in order. Second year, you could able to see a good results. And third year, we'll help them to work on the sustainability.
So let's talk about the here and now. We're in a pandemic world. 2020 has sort of turned the entire global universe topsy-turvy. How is this tool applicable in the present context of things?
So if you look at the centeredness now, we have to move away from our usual comforts that we are used to and re-look back at our way in which we are doing things. That requires us to move away. So which means to say that if you do the software, we will see how anchored you are in the comfort. If it's too anchored, then you can't do those things. Second, COVID is there, industry is down. Okay, this is the defense-centeredness that comes out. So we will have to understand why you are saying that, reduce those centeredness and start looking within to turn your perception in a different way.
Right.
So you've got to see things, you've got to learn how to look at things differently. The world has given us an opportunity to be very creative. So this is the chance. So what we now try and do is that coach people to see things in a different manner.
Has any of this been implemented during this COVID pandemic period?
We did
and what kind of change or results have you seen during this time? Because these are the most crucial moments. I mean, let's not talk about the good old days when you had booming business, 20 non-recession period. But this becomes sort of like the real test bed. When you really don't have anywhere else to go. How does this work? Can you share some of that with us?
One of our quite a big client, I don't want to mention name here, but what happened compared to May, June, July, August, September profit 2019 compared to the same 2020, they have grown about 30%.
Wow, in the COVID
COVID
pandemic
situation. Why?
Business environment.
Exactly. Why? Because the number one man is aware that we're going to be hit badly. So we started to prepare all the 230 top management team in January itself. So we gave them the right mental model. We start strategizing how are we going to face this. And they worked so hard, and they discovered actually they can able to do a lot of better things because of we put a lot of attention. And earlier they were so relaxed because they were making money, no issues. They discovered actually our real potential is so much, but COVID, it just came and triggered it.
Right. So now, I probably have only about 3 minutes left. I want to know what's the future, what's next, how can we use this, how can we benefit from this, and who can benefit from this? Because there's a cost to this as well. So can one of you share with me?
He'll share the cost now, I'll share the part. So the thing is that from now on, it's something that we have developed, very excited about it, because it can be used for two purposes. One is the corporate sector, the other is the youth transformation, because two different, the same aspect, but tailor-made to two, it has got uses for that.
Right.
And today we know very well that depression rates and suicidal rates are all getting so high.
And everybody is getting overwhelmed.
Overwhelmed by this. So now we need to coach them. This is not a substitute for counselor or not a substitute for a coach, but it will supplement and complement their efforts as well.
Right.
By using the software, you can be very precisely, you can get quickly to the problems of that particular person.
Right.
Number two, we can help organizations to thrive and grow bigger. So we are We have now spread to Australia now. We've got a group of people, and many Southeast Asian countries, we have already done some work there, not to mention now in UAE, Middle East, as well as Indonesia. So we are working like this. We are hoping from 2021 onwards to make it really global. What we are very happy and extremely proud, we must say, it's a Malaysian product going overseas. I think this is something that we always, we are very patriotic, so we want Malaysia to be seen in the world. I think this is one opportunity to make the world see Malaysia in this in amazing positive way.
I love that it's scalable because it's digital. Now let's talk about cost. And nothing comes free in life. So let's talk about it being not free.
Okay.
Everybody's used to Facebook being free.
The current pricing is for the whole 6 months intervention, the diagnosis, the coaching, the self-coaching tool and all that, is 1,500 US. But for Malaysia, it's about 3,500 in Malaysia. But currently, we are just giving it for 1,500 as introductory. We want more people to have it. So that's what we are doing currently.
So for those who can't afford it, say you're talking about youth transformation, that would be difficult.
Exactly. So we want to give this to the youth 13 and above. So we also have a scheme where the parents pay in 6 months, 12 months. The Easy Pay scheme. We have created the Easy Pay. So for example, let's say they take 24 months kind of thing. They only pay about 62
So there's an installment scheme that's possibly available. Now we're hoping there'll be some subsidies to be able to create this mental model transformation from the government. We ran out of time. Thank you so much, gentlemen. If you want to find out a little bit more, there's a website.
Yes.
What's the website that you can go to?
SPEAARS.com.
SPEAARS.com. SPEAARS is 2 A's.
2 A's.
Yeah, SPEAARS with 2 A's. SPEAARS.com. Just find out a bit more. Do a bit of research. Who knows? You might be changing your future. Thank you so much, Professor Suresh Govind, as well as Harida Supia, for sharing your time with us. For sharing with us about the fourth wave execution integrity. Who knows? This might be the wave of the future. Thanks for staying with us till the end of the nation. I'm Eleanor Abdullah signing off. Bye for now. Pleasure, guys.